Okay children, welcome back to our second video. Now this is the continuation of the chapter number 9, reproduction in animals. Okay, in this video we will be seeing more details about fertilization. You will be studying about the different types of fertilization. Okay, so we will start. Fertilization. Remember you studied about fertilization in video 1. What was fertilization? Just think and tell me what is fertilization. Just think. Yes, it is the fusion of a male and a female gamete. What was the male gamete called as? Sperm. What was the name of the female gamete? Egg. The sperm will fuse with the egg to form a zygote. Okay, and this process of fusion of a sperm and an egg, you call it as fertilization. Okay, yes. Now there are two different types of fertilization. Okay, you can classify fertilization into two different types based on where it occurs, whether it occurs inside the body of a female or outside the body of a female. On the basis of that, you can classify fertilization into internal and external fertilization. The type of fertilization which occur inside the female body, you call it as internal fertilization. Whereas, if it occurs outside the female body, you call it as external fertilization. So, one is inside the female body, the other one is outside the female body. Okay, you have to study some examples. In case of most of the higher organisms, the type of fertilization which occurs will be definitely internal. Okay, whereas in most of the aquatic animals, those animals which live in water, the type of fertilization which occurs will be external only, like frogs, fishes and all. Okay, now another difference between these two is that in case of internal fertilization, as it is occurring inside the body of a mother, as it is occurring inside the body of a female. Okay, the embryo, the zygote is inside the body of a mother. The development of the zygote will be happening inside the mother's uterus only. Hence, the zygote is very much safe. The chances of survival of the young one is more when compared to external fertilization. But in case of external fertilization, the sperms and eggs produced by the male and female will be released into the external environment. It will be into the water. Okay, so the chances of an egg coming and meeting a sperm and then fusing together is very less. Okay, the chances of survival of the young ones after fertilization is also very less. Hence, in internal fertilization, as the chance of survival is more, less number of eggs only is produced. Only few number of eggs, because the egg will definitely fuse with the sperm. There is more chance, and if it fuses, the zygote can definitely become a young individual. Okay, whereas in external fertilization it is not like that. The chances of survival of the offspring is very less. The chances of meeting, the chance of fertilization itself is very less. If fertilization occur, the offsprings cannot survive. Okay, most of the offsprings cannot survive. Hence, more number of eggs should be released at a time. Okay, so this is another difference between internal and external fertilization. Hope this is clear to you. Yes. Now we will move on to the external fertilization in aquatic animals like frog, fishes and all. Now we are going to study in detail about how external fertilization occur in frogs. Okay, yes. Now during rainy season or during spring season, the frogs and toads, they will be moving towards slow moving waters, streams and all. Okay, now once they reach there, the female will be releasing hundreds of egg into water. Now egg is a female gamete, don't forget it. Okay, so the female gamete or the egg is released directly into the water. Okay, and what will the male do? The male will come towards there and the male gamete or the sperm is again directly released into the water over the egg. The sperm will come towards the egg, it will swim in this water, it will come towards the female gamete or the egg, it will fuse with the female gamete, thereby fertilization occurs there. So here fertilization is happening in water, not inside the body of a frog. Hence, it is called as external fertilization. Clear? Now, the speciality of this egg which is produced by a female is that hundreds of eggs are released at a time. As I told you when you studied about the difference between internal and external fertilization. In external fertilization, remember right now I told you the chances of survival of the young one is very less. Hence, more number of eggs should be produced. So, here also the chances of survival, as it is very less, more number or hundreds of eggs are produced at a time. Now, just look into this diagram. You can see this is the eggs. These are the eggs of the frog which is released into this water. Now, can you see the jelly-like substance all around this egg? The egg is covered by a jelly-like substance. Now, these jelly-like substance is produced outside the egg. It will help the egg to hold to one another. It will adhere the eggs together so that they are together. Okay, they are all sticked together within a same area. See, they are jelly-like which holds the egg together. Okay, so that is another speciality of the eggs produced. So, eggs are produced hundreds in number and it will be covered by a layer of jelly which can hold them together. Is this clear? So, hope this external fertilization for frogs or in case of frog is clear to you. Okay, children. Next, we will see, all the eggs in frogs will not get fertilized and develop into new individuals. It is a question actually. This heading itself is a question. All the eggs of a frog will not become fertilized, and if fertilized, all these fertilized eggs will not become adult frogs. Right now, from the explanation which I gave you from the beginning, it will be clear to you. The answer will be there in your mind already, isn't it? I think I have explained the answer once or twice throughout this video. What is the answer for this question? Why they are eggs? The chances of survival of young one is very less, or the chances of fertilization is very less in case of frog. The reason is that the eggs and sperms, they are exposed to water. The female will be releasing egg into the water. The male will be releasing egg into the water. The sperm and egg has to meet in water only. Okay, by this time they will be exposed to a lot of things. They will be exposed to water currents, to wind, etc. There is every chance the male and female gametes can be separated. They will not come and fertilize. That is the first main reason. See, eggs and sperms are exposed to water, movement, wind and rainfall. So, the chances of they coming and meeting is very less. The second reason is that there are so many other predators which live in this pond. There may be so many other fishes, there may be other bigger fishes. All these will come and eat all these eggs. Okay, they will be predators, they will come and eat these eggs off. So, there will be no egg for the sperm to fuse. So, other animals in the pond may feed on the egg. This is the second reason why all eggs will not be getting fertilized. So, got the reason? So, with this external fertilization in frog, the topic is over. Now, listen carefully. So, what all things did we see today in this video? We studied about what is fertilization. We have already studied it in video 1. The process of fusion of a male and a female gamete is called as fertilization. You studied about the two different types of fertilization, external and internal. Then you studied that external fertilization in case of few animals like frog and all in detail. These three things we have already studied. So, you understood what is fertilization right now. Okay, and you know what is a product of fertilization. The fusion product of a sperm and egg is called as a zygote, and the process of this fusion you call it as fertilization. So, that much is clear in your head right now? Yes. Now, look here. The fusion of sperm and egg, what do you call this process as? You call this process as fertilization. Okay, the sperm and egg will be fusing together and you get a product called as the zygote. Zygote is otherwise called as a fertilized egg. Other name for zygote is a fertilized egg. Okay, now the zygote will undergo repeated cell division. Zygote is actually a single celled. Zygote is a single celled. Now what will happen to the zygote? The zygote will become two celled. These two cells will become 4. 4 will become 8. 8 will become 16. Like this, the cell division continues. Okay, the single celled zygote will undergo repeated cell division. The cells will become tissues. Tissues will become organs. Okay, now this developing structure which is having tissues and organs inside it, you call it as an embryo. So what do you mean by an embryo? The zygote will undergo repeated cell division, thereby forming tissues and organs. This developing structure which is having lots of tissues and organs inside it, you call it as an embryo. Okay, now the embryo, again in embryo, the process of cell division will not stop. The cells will again continue to divide. Different organs will be formed, different body parts will be formed, and finally it reaches a stage that the embryo could be easily recognized. All the body parts of an embryo like hands, legs, eyes, nose, hair, all the different body parts can be easily recognized. That stage of an embryo where you can recognize all the body parts, you call it as the fetus. So got the difference? So what is a sperm? It is a male gamete. Egg is a female gamete. The fusion of sperm and egg, you call it as fertilization. The fusion product is a zygote. Zygote will undergo repeated cell division, thereby forming tissues and organs. This structure you call it as an embryo. The stage of an embryo where you can recognize all the body parts clearly, you call it as a fetus. Is this okay for you? Okay. Now, the development of embryo, what you studied right now in that tabular form, we are going to study it in this diagram, where all these things occur. Okay, so see, this is the ovary of a human female. Okay, this is a female reproductive system. This is an ovary. From the ovary, one egg is released per month. You have already studied it in video 1. See, you can see an egg which is released from this ovary. This is the egg. Okay, the process of release of an egg from an ovary is called as ovulation. Ovulation means it is a process where an egg is released from an ovary. You can get this picture in page number 104, figure 9.8 in your textbook. If you want, you take that page and keep it, so it will be easy for you. Okay, so what do you mean by ovulation? It is a process of release of an egg or a female gamete from an ovary. The egg, it is entering into the fallopian tube. Okay, now the egg will be encountering a sperm. The egg will be fusing with a sperm. The fusion product, you call it as a zygote. Right now fertilization is over. Egg fuses with a sperm and a zygote is produced. Clear? So with this fertilization process is over. Now what will happen to the zygote? The zygote will move from one part of the fallopian tube to the next until it reaches the uterus. As the zygote is moving like this towards the uterus, what will happen to the zygote? We told right now, the zygote undergo repeated cell division. One cell will become 2, 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8, like this the process continues. See, the number of cells is going on increasing. Can you see? And finally it will form a structure called as the embryo, where you can recognize all the different where you can see all the different tissues and organs. The developing structure with lot of tissues and organs inside it, you call it as an embryo. Once it reaches this embryo stage, now what will happen to this embryo? The embryo will slowly get embedded. Embedded means what? It will go and fix into the wall of the uterus. Now the embryo is very much safe in the wall of the uterus. Okay, the process of going and getting fixed onto the wall of uterus is what is called as embedding. So the embryo is getting embedded on the wall of the uterus. Now the embryo is very much safe. Again, what will happen to the embryo? You have already studied in that flow chart. Again, continuous cell division and all will be occurring, and the embryo will develop into a fetus. So, is this clear, children? Understood how this development of embryo occurs? With this diagram, it is okay for you? Okay. Next, so you understood what is internal fertilization and all the development of embryo, everything we studied. Right now, we are going to study one example of an internal fertilization. Okay, internal fertilization which occur in hen. It is little bit different from other organisms. That is why we are taking it as an example and we are studying. Okay, now internal fertilization in hens. Okay, now we will see what happens here. Now this is the ova, or this is the female gamete of an hen. Female gamete is produced inside the ovary of a hen. Now this tube, can you see this pink colored tube? This pink colored tube is the fallopian tube. Okay, yes. Now listen carefully. So this ova or the female gamete which is produced from the body of a hen, the ova will be entering into the fallopian tube. By the time a sperm will be coming here, the egg and the sperm will be fusing here to form a zygote. See, fertilization is occurring and this is the zygote. After fertilization, what will happen to the zygote? Right now we studied zygote will move from one part to the next of a fallopian tube. The zygote will be moving from one part to the other part inside the fallopian tube. And as the zygote is moving, we studied that the zygote will be undergoing repeated cell division. Here in the case of egg or in the case of hen, during egg formation, what is happening here? See, the egg, the external shell of an egg is formed here. Can you see egg white formation? See, the covering of the egg is formed here. Again, the covering becomes little bit thick as it reaches here. Again, as it is moving towards the next part of the fallopian tube, the covering is becoming little bit thick. Again, see here, the white is very thick, and finally the complete shell is being formed as it reaches the end of the fallopian tube. By the end of the fallopian tube, the complete shell is formed. The formation of shell is completed, and the hen will be laying this egg through this portion. The egg comes out of the body of the hen, the completely developed egg. Okay, with the hard shell will come out of the hen's body. Clear? So, as it is moving down the fallopian tube only, this layer formation occurs, and finally the layer becomes hard. Okay, one by one something gets deposited, the layers get deposited, and finally it becomes hard. Next, once the egg is laid by a hen, you know the hen will be sitting over the egg to give it warmth. And within 3 weeks, what will happen? The embryo will be developing inside the egg. See, the development of the embryo, the remaining part of development of embryo occurs outside the body of the hen only. The hen will be sitting over the egg and the development is completed. See, all this developmental process is completed outside the body. Okay, it is fertilization is internal, but the development of embryo is occurring outside the body. Is this clear? Whereas in case of human beings, what is happening? Internal fertilization, the development of embryo also internal, but in case of hen, internal fertilization, but development of embryo is occurring outside the body. Okay, so inside the egg, see, the developmental process will happen. Finally, it will form a chick. When the chick is ready, what will happen? The chick will break the hard layer of the egg. The egg shell is being broken and the chick will be coming out after 3 weeks. Okay, so this is internal fertilization and external development of embryo in case of a hen. Is this clear? Yes. Now we are moving to the last topic of the second video. It's a very small topic, just one difference you need to study. Okay, it's oviparous and viviparous organisms. It's very simple. Okay, oviparous organisms means what? Those organisms which can lay eggs. You have studied it in smaller classes, isn't it? Just a reminder, a gentle reminder of it. Oviparous animals, animals which can lay eggs, and you need to study some examples. And what are viviparous animals? Those animals which can give birth to their young ones. And again you need to study some examples. Okay children, so with this we are winding up this video too. Hope you understood. Study well, be safe. We will see in video 3. Okay, bye.